Before I started making this video, I was really pissed off. Pissed off because I wasn't sure of what video I would make today. I was looking at the list I have, um, my video ideas, but nothing seemed to click. I can't build ideas and thesis and talk extensively about it. So I was really pissed off. And it dawned on me that, wait, I'm pissed off right now. I should probably make a video on it. And yeah, that's all this is about: anger. Well, first off, anger is a powerful emotion. It's intense, this intense emotion that you usually feel when you're provoked or someone has clearly wronged you. And by and large, it's always seen as negative by society. And I think there are two reasons as to why this is the case. First, first things first, it's a way to keep people docile and helpless. You know, for people to be okay with the current situation right now, for people's tax dollars to be continuously pocketed by politicians and to be thrown away in these wasteful infrastructure and useless spending. Not that all infrastructure spending is useless, it's just that as of late, a lot of the infrastructure spending that the government is doing is, quite honestly, meaningless and wasteful. It's also a way for people to just, you know, go along with things, regardless of how unjustified and egregious these laws and demands may be. Now, this benefits nobody but the powers that be, because they can continue pillaging, they can continue with all of their deceit and all of their lies that they peddle in order to keep themselves and their constituents in power. That's all there is to it. And you know why these people hate it when you show signs of discontent and even just a little bit of anger? And I've thought that that picture, I mean, that video that came out a few weeks ago, it's not very recent, but just several weeks ago, of the presidential palace in Sri Lanka being stormed, that sent chills down the spine of every weak, incompetent, and quite frankly, useless leaders around the globe. That's the thing that a lot of these leaders are afraid of: the masses, the populace coming to their senses and realizing that, hey, we've been screwed up. But of course, that protest or the storming of the presidential palace in Sri Lanka, it has a plethora of reasons to why that occurred. Like, for instance, the mismanagement of the FX reserves, on top of the soaring food and energy prices, and just general discontent of the current economic situation out there. And the thing that you always see with these people, I mean, I'm not even talking about the powers that be. I'm just talking about the people around you, right? Friends, acquaintances, and society by and large. They always want you to be civilized and polite. And in this day and age, it's often at the expense of truth and objective reality. And look, I think the reason why they just want you to, just toe the line for the most part and not express your legitimate grievances, is because it's a way to control you. It's a way to keep the status quo. It's a way to make sure that things don't change, because they benefit from it. And it's also because the populace today has been extremely pussified and domesticated. I mean, look, you just say something that goes against their truths, right? Their supposed truths and their beliefs, and they go haywire. They get pissed off at you. They want to cancel you. They want to label you as a bigot. They want to tell you that you're not sensitive of people's feelings and whatnot. I mean, look, at one extent, you have to be sensitive of people's feelings, but you can't always be walking on glass shards or on eggshells, right? There comes a point when, regardless of how people feel, regardless of um, what they may think of you, whether it be right or wrong. You have to tell them the truth, because this whole thing about just being civilized and polite and not being able to vent out your frustrations, even if they're legitimate, well, it's gonna cause the downfall of society inevitably in the long run. And here's the thing, okay, when I talk about anger, it's it's an energy, it's a powerful energy, right? And a very powerful fuel at that. The type of anger I'm talking about is one where you can channel it in a controlled manner, and that's very important, in a controlled manner towards something productive and beneficial. You know, as a conduit for real, tangible, and lasting change in your life, and perhaps also the lives of others, the people around you. Because look, let's say, suppose that you have a really crappy life. Your life sucks. I mean, let's be real, a lot of people have really horrible lives. They just don't realize it because they've become too comfortable with the trashiness of their life that they're unable to change it. They don't have that motivation, that resolve, that strength of will to want to change things because it's too heavy for them. It's too heavy for them, or they feel that they're unable to influence, even just a little bit, their circumstances in life. So again, going back to the example, suppose your life sucks. You live a minimum wage job. Your boss is a complete, total dickhead. Um, your wife doesn't even wanna slam you anymore. Your children don't respect you, and you're just living in misery. I mean, day by day, um, days go by, and it's just the same. So what are you gonna do, right? You gotta be pissed off because people with miserable lives, they're they're too comfortable. It's either they're too comfortable or they don't believe that they can influence even just a little bit, even a minuscule change, the lives that they currently have. And this comfort is going to bite them back later on. And this misery will only continue until the day they die. So if you really want things to change, you need to be pissed off. You need to be angry at your circumstances. And you need, again, to channel that anger towards something meaningful. You want to instigate small incremental changes because, big changes don't really happen. It's just anathema to our nature. You need small incremental changes day by day. You know, your downtime, if you have a shitty life, think about what you can do in that downtime. Instead of surfing the internet mindlessly, watching garbage shows in Netflix, or binge watching the television, or drinking after your work hours, why don't you think of ways to generate extra income on the side, right? Why don't you use that time to read books about topics that you're actually interested in? Or perhaps why don't you work on your body, given that you've already been tired after your 9 to 5? Still, anger is a very powerful fuel. It's energy after all. You need not suppress it. You just need to channel it in a proper avenue. So yeah, I hope I'm making sense here, right? And just something to take note of before I take off. I'm not talking about the anger where you're just lashing out at anyone because you've just lost your cool. That's not what I'm talking about. The type of anger that I'm talking about is one, again, that you channel properly towards something that can yield a positive result in your life. I mean, to me, you're no different from a 7-year-old child who cries when his wishes are not met. Um, Actually, now that I think about it, the 7-year-old kid is even better than you because by crying, there's a chance that his needs are met by his parents, right? By contrast, you being pissed off and just lashing out mindlessly at anyone, it's most likely gonna land you in jail, or you'll get a restraining order, or you're probably gonna be recommended to a shrink. So yeah, that's it. You need to be more pissed off. Hope this helps.